So at what point does it tip? At what point does it come when we're all in the streets saying, enough, we won't take it anymore, and all of the things that have happened. So the point of all of that tirade, maybe, is to examine where we are ourselves on that continuum. On the other side of Aquarius is Leo. That's the monarch, the king of the beasts, and an immature Leo. And the Lion King story is the best I've ever seen in terms of explaining that energy. The young lion says, I just can't wait to be king. I'm going to tell everybody what to do, and I'm going to be in charge, and I won't have to worry about anything. Through the journey of his life and the metamorphosis, he learns that a true monarch is not at the top of the pyramid, they're at the bottom of the pyramid, and they are in service to the collective. So the principle of Leo, at that point of the pyramid, if you will, or the triangle, and the collective is the wider spectrum. So all of the people who are part of the kingdom, it isn't up to, in an enlightened society, it is not up to the monarch to tell everyone what to do. It's to understand what each individual needs. That's the origin of the word, our word ruler, was the job of the king, the monarch, to understand what each needed and to measure that exactly according to the individual and what they needed. In an enlightened society, people are awake and do their part and take, here's the most important thing about Aquarius, it's not about smashing the structures, no matter how corrupt. It's about personal responsibility. It's about what can I do where I am and with the resources that I have to make a difference in the world. So that's that continuum, and we each have a place in our lives where we're the monarch. We're in charge of our closet, our garage, our attic. We're in charge of whatever we do at our job, and we can decide to say, I'm going to do the very best that I am able to do from the point of personal responsibility. I'm not going to slack off, and I'm not going to wait till someone tells me what to do. So we're at a point, and I don't know what critical mass is going to be, but we are at a point in our society of waiting for someone to ride in on a white horse and save us. It isn't going to happen. I was reminded of the famous Pogo cartoon. We have met the enemy and he is us. And that's it. It's like our lethargy. Do we rely on hope? I love that. It's lazy. Or do we rely on something to make a difference? Do we just toss all our recycling in the trash and say, oh, well, I'm just one person, it's not going to matter? Do we make a difference in the morality of how we eat in this world and what that does to the climate? I mean, every single thing, every single act is a choice on either the future and ethics and what moves us forward, or what keeps us imprisoned where we are with more of the same. And we participate in that collective, and within each one of us, there is a portion of Donald Trump or whoever you want to think about it. There is in every way. Somewhere in each of us is a petty tyrant. Somewhere in each of us is a conflict ready to flare into an argument or some sort of open warfare with someone else. And this is a tall order, but as I said, I often hoped when I was growing up that if I had been in that place, I would have done something. Now I am in that place. So what does that mean? And what will I do? What can I do to make a difference? And to the degree that each of us can make a difference, then it does reach a critical mass. Years ago in corporate America, we had someone come and speak, and he spoke about how change happens. So this is the part that does give a bit of hope. And it was the work of George Land. Those of you who are old enough to remember the Polaroid Land camera. And he described that change occurs in every system in exactly the same way. Whether that's an organism floating in the ocean, whether that's the consciousness of a human, whether it's a group or a collective. It always begins with one individual. That individual, whatever it is, whether it's a cell, whether it's the coronavirus, or like Margaret Mead said, small groups. That one individual affects 5 to 7 others. Then those individuals affect 5 to 7 others. Now here's the good news. Critical mass is only 15% of a system. And it's at that point where the whole system shifts to a new level. Certainly there are enough of us in the world to achieve 15% if we make the effort in some way. What that effort looks like, I don't know. But that's where hope goes to being determined and making a difference. But, at least for me, that's how I feel, that every single choice I make during the day, not that I accomplish it all the time, but every single choice I make during the day, do I not throw away plastic bags? Do I carry my permanent straw with me every place I go? Do I recycle? Do I think about how I'm using water? Do I make every choice I can? And when I engage with others, where am I coming from? And of course, there are places where that is beyond difficult when you disagree at a most fundamental level with someone else. But that's where we are, and that's the beginning of the age of Aquarius, and that's the sign that we're in. And so I guess the question for potential meditation is, where am I the inertia that is staying in place, and where in my life am I the forward motion that might become that one individual that can affect 5 others, that might feel like affecting 5 others to move us forward. What's the saying? There's, I don't remember who said it, and I think it goes like, if not me, who? If not now, when? It's another, I don't know who said it, but it's another famous quote. So the chart is interesting. I don't know whether you saw it, Chrissy or Janet. The opposition, as I said, is at 20 degrees, and the moon is forming a yod, that's the blue mark. Jupiter and Neptune are forming a 60-degree angle, and they're each 150 degrees from the moon. So the opposition of the sun-moon is right smack in the middle of that. It's fascinating. And the moon is also making a trine to Mars, so lots of energy into what's happening. So Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and as I was saying to Ted as we were talking about it over tea, Neptune is the depths. It's the deep ocean of our awareness and our psyche, whereas Uranus and Aquarius is the starry sky. It's the cosmos above. And at the time of Aquarius, it's so interesting to see the conditions of the full moon tonight. It was just extraordinary. It was like that light was filtered through the cloud and forming a circular rainbow. I guess they call it a moonbow or a moondog, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that before. It'd be nice to get an image in your video. So, yods are a really interesting astrological aspect, and I have never myself heard anybody else's explanation that really resonated with me. Sometimes I've heard it said that if you look at it this way, it looks like a wine glass or a vessel, and that the upper part of the Y, the word comes from the Hebrew letter yod, which is just Y or I. So here's the sun. So if you think of it as a container, then that midpoint, that central point of the yod, in a sense is the resolution point, or the place that captures and resolves the energy of the geometry. Also, otherwise, thinking of it, then it's the point that's the stem that is the receiving point of the energy. And in this case, because it's at the top of this chart, it might make more sense. So Jupiter and Neptune are interesting energies to be captured. Jupiter is at the end of Capricorn, and the middle of Capricorn, excuse me, I'm upside down, and Neptune is about the middle of Pisces. So one way to look at this for the opportunity, for the moment of the chart of the full moon, is capturing the highest light that Jupiter represents and capturing the highest inspiration that Neptune represents and bringing that together, joined by the sun and the reflected light of the moon. The Buddha was always depicted as a full moon. The idea would be, what can we gather from our inspiration to inform our own inner radiance? And then how do we take that inner radiance out into the world to shine our light in a dark time? Because it is a dark time, make no mistake. There's dawn coming at some point. We don't know what it will look like, but there's work to be done. And so
I kind of see it as in Kabbalah, you know, you have the tree of life to move up, and you're having to deal with these energies on each side to balance them out so you can go up, you know. And that funny little joke, when you get to the fork in the road, take it.
that's right.
So it's like you got to do both.
That's right.
You know.
That's exactly right, and it reminds me, the two of the opposite Sephiroth on the tree of life are mercy and severity. And so in Kabbalah, the light comes down like a lightning flash that moves down the entire tree on involution, but evolution moves up slowly like a serpent, moving from one side to the other, seeking balance until balancing the polarities until it gets to the top. And I remember one of my teachers always said, justice isn't only about mercy. Sometimes it's about severity. Sometimes we have to know when to draw the line and when to take action or, as I said, speak up when something is intolerable. I have a song that kind of reflects my, I don't know what the right word is, but it's sort of my state of mind at this point. And Ted and I have been told, most of you know, I think, that, how many have we done? 113. We've done 113 trance sessions over the last 10 years. And we have guides, and they told us in our last session, and I can't come up with the right word either, but for all of the effort of spiritual guides and teachers and those, they are disappointed and sad with the status of where things are right now. They thought it would be different, and there have been times when the scales tipped in ways that that are disappointing. And so that's sort of how I feel at this moment.